This is the story of a rich but selfish merchant who thought he had everything: gold, power, and influence. But one day, a mysterious stranger arrived in his life, and in just a moment, everything changed. In a prosperous town, there lived a merchant named Rody. He owned the largest shop in the marketplace, selling the finest silk, spices, and gold. His wealth was unmatched, and his name was known far and wide. But despite his fortune, Rody was not a kind man. He never helped the poor. He never gave discounts to struggling families. And worst of all, he paid his workers so little that they could barely afford food. One day, a poor farmer entered Rody's shop, hoping to buy a blanket for his family. But Rody sneered and refused him, throwing him out without mercy. That night, as Rody counted his gold, the shop door creaked open. A tall man, dressed in a simple yet elegant robe, stepped inside. His eyes held wisdom, and his presence demanded attention. "Merchant Rody," the stranger said, "I hear you are the richest man in town." The stranger pulled out a small piece of paper. "This is a contract," he said. "Sign it, and by tomorrow morning you will have double your wealth. But if you fail to use your riches wisely, you will lose everything in an instant." Greedy and blinded by desire, Rody signed the contract without hesitation. The next morning, Rody awoke to a miracle. His shop had doubled in size. His storage was overflowing with gold, silk, and treasures beyond his wildest dreams. He threw a grand feast for the wealthiest men in town, but refused to share even a grain with the poor. That night, as Rody counted his gold, the shop door swung open. The mysterious stranger stood there, his eyes no longer warm but piercing. "Merchant Rody," he said, "have you kept your promise?" Rody scoffed. "Of course. I've made wise investments. I have more wealth than ever." The stranger shook his head. "That was not the promise. Have you helped the poor? Have you been just and fair to your workers?" A cold wind swept through the shop. The walls trembled, and then everything disappeared. Rody screamed. His gold, his silk, his shop, all gone. He was left with nothing but the clothes on his back. The townspeople watched in shock. Some whispered that it was karma. Others pitied him. But the poor farmer, whom Rody had once thrown out, walked up to him and offered him a blanket. Rody, now a beggar, looked at the man with tears in his eyes. "I had everything, and now I have nothing." The farmer smiled gently. "You had everything, except a kind heart." That night, as Rody sat under the same blanket he once refused to sell to the farmer, he realized the truth. Wealth is not measured by gold, but by the kindness we share. A mysterious stranger was never seen again, but his lesson remained. And so, the town learned that greed builds walls, but generosity builds bridges. Friends, true wealth is not what we keep, but what we give. Rody the merchant had everything but lost it all because he failed to value kindness and humility. In the end, it was the very person he once mistreated who showed him compassion. This story reminds us that true success is not found in how much we own, but in how we treat others. True wealth isn't measured by gold or possessions, but by the kindness we show to others. If we let greed and selfishness control our hearts, we may one day find ourselves empty-handed, not just in riches, but in the love and respect of those around us. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and share so that others can learn this important lesson too. And for more inspiring stories, subscribe to our channel, Tales to Share, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.